Let's go. Doug and Rob on the mic, spring running the show. Turn the dial up, let the nonsense flow. Triptych in the corner, wagging her tail, ready for the road. And history in the rear view, spices in the air. Cooking up a story, got a guest in every chair. Entrepreneurs and dreamers, music in the night. On the Nonsense Chronicles, everything feels right. Turn it up, let the laughter roll. On the road with the heart and a rock and roll soul. From the kitchen to the highway, chasing every spot. We're living out loud, making magic in the dark. Spring's got the soundboard mixing up the fun. Doug's got the question drops, always on the run. Fifth's got opinions, barking out the truth. Every episode's a journey, every moment's living through. Turn it up, let the
Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Chronicles. This is Doug Chachere, and as always, I am joined by
Rob Mendiola.
Greetings, Rob.
What's up, Doug?
How? Oh man, just another day in paradise, avoiding storms and hopefully not twisters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how it is this time of year, man.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty rough down here, but so far it's been kind of holding.
Okay. Yeah, I can only imagine what my grass looks like from the video. I've seen a little bit of it. So
You don't have anybody caring for that while you're gone?
I have them caring for plants, but I didn't care about grass. I was just gonna do it when I got home.
You're gonna
looks
deal with all the
manageable.
you're gonna deal with all the HOA letters when you get back.
Yeah, that'll be the fun part.
Yeah. do they do that to you guys?
Yeah, but I haven't gotten anything in a
while.
In a while. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping it'll stay that way. We'll see.
Mm.
But hey, you know, there's a couple of anniversaries this week of some natural disasters,
Okay.
and one of them, you know, I
Your
want to talk
birthday
about one of them.
are you counting your birthday as one?
Well, you know that actually kind of am. But we're gonna get that's gonna be the main part of our story.
All right, I'm gonna let you just
It
run
just-
then, because you got a pamphlet down, right?
I got it.
You
I
wrote it
got
all
this-
down. Okay.
I got this down in my head, man.
All right, well, let's
The first one we're going to mention, and we'll do a short mention. It might be a dive later on, but in 1980, on May 18th, that's when Mount St. Helens went off, and you know, it's been 46 years, and seeing that thing last year, and I can tell you that it looks like somebody took an ice cream scoop to a mountain and basically pulled out a chunk,
Yep.
including the side. You know, so it's just amazing to see how that still is the same like it was when that happened. I never thought I would see that in my lifetime. You know, that event happened in the United States, but it did.
I think
And,
it's the biggest event, right, in the U.S.
Oh yeah, big as far as and I mean, you know, I was
So it
not
still
quite
stands.
14 and still stands, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Also, thing I wanted to talk about today was May 22nd. It was a Sunday. I remember it. That's why we're talking about this. It was a Sunday, May 22nd, 2011. That was the Joplin EF5 tornado. Do you remember that?
2011? Yeah, Missouri.
2011.
Missouri?
In Missouri,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Yeah, that's another really large disaster. that
Oh
occurred.
God, yeah. And you know, it was an event where you had a EF5 tornado go through a town.
Yeah.
You know, a sizable town, and it plowed right through the heart of that town, man.
Now, why did they get caught so off guard? What happened there? Do you remember?
Well, no, they were warned. Okay, I'm going to give you some lead up to that. They were warned about it. Storms have been developing as usual this time of year in Oklahoma and Kansas, and Joplin is located in the very southwest tip of Missouri. And it's bordered by Oklahoma and Kansas. They're very close to both those states. There's a little triangle there. Well, those storms are developing in Oklahoma and Kansas, and actually one that was, I think the cell came out of southeast Kansas and dropped down, and it was a few cells, but they kind of merged together. And in fact, this is a rough telling of it. If I'm going to tell I've seen a bunch of great documentaries on it.
Yeah, they have
but
some
the
good
best
ones.
but the best one I ever saw was done a year ago, and she redid it. It's on Going Green Productions on YouTube, and it's the Joplin, Missouri EF5, the definitive tornado documentary, and she redid it and released it, I think, a week ago. And yeah, it is amazing. I mean, it's about an hour and 56 minutes. It covers so many every little story, and then shows she went back and got film from people's cameras, or of course security cameras, but people's phones and everything, and put into each of those stories. So the storytelling is done, which you're also seeing visual, which is amazing. And I thought it was a fantastic job. But
that was 2011.
Yeah, 2011. April had already had a ton of tornadoes. That's where we had the Dixie Alley outbreak, where Alabama, Tuscaloosa got hit by a EF5. Well, I know maybe it might have been I know it was a EF5. I thought it was a 4 maybe, but no, there were 3 EF5s on that stretch in Dixie Alley in April of that year. But I couldn't tell you how many tornadoes. There might have been 30 of them. 36, I'm guessing, but it was a ton that day, or I think it was a 2 or 3 day period. But this was a month later, and it's in that stretch where, springtime, the cooler air is still coming down from the northwest, and it's meaning that Gulf air rising up from the, Gulf, and when that hits, it causes some issues this time of year, And I mean, anytime that you drive through Oklahoma or Kansas, this time of year, or it's shifting a little bit more west. I mean, east it seems. And I was dodging them yesterday. I'm pulling up, got the Weather Channel and Storm Chaser Live pulled up on iPads anytime I drive this time of year, so I can hear and listen to where those storms are. So it's one thing to drive through a thunderstorm; it's another when there's a tornado. And this is what we're going to talk about with this. They had people that were fishing in a lake or a big pond to the southeast of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they caught. It's in the video. They actually caught pictures of this storm system before it dropped into a tornado. They mentioned, wow, that's some high tops on those clouds. So those clouds that. When they build higher and higher like that, man, it's going to be some intense thunderstorms. And they got that picture. Now, the funny thing is, what was a big problem is, and it is a lot of tornadoes down here because of the moisture we have. It's not like, a lot of times you see them in the plains in Kansas or Nebraska, and you can see them from forever away. Well, you get down here, and especially in Dixie Alley too, is a lot like that. The big problem with this one was it was rain wrapped. Nobody could see it on the front end. Now, they had guys that were chasing it and caught up with it on the back end. They saw it when it dropped. And when I'm saying it dropped. I mean, as soon as that thing crossed into the Missouri line, that storm system, it pretty much dropped that tornado down right then and there where Joplin starts. And it went west to east, and then end up curving a little bit towards the southeast and crossing over Interstate 44. But that thing was tracking, I want to say about a mile and a half, maybe north of I-44. And it cut through town. There's a little bit of a bevel that when you're on Rangeline Road is, like my dad would say, the main drag in that town. Now they have 9th Street and they have a couple other streets that go through that are big deals, but Rangeline, everything's there. I had made several the district office for Walmart. There's two Walmarts at the time in Joplin. There was one in Webb City. And these are the days before the supercenters. These are regular, what they call hometown stores on our Division I. But before they called them markets, they called them districts. And that district office was located in that Joplin store on Ridgeline Road. And I had made presentations at that store multiple times, stayed there many times. And I knew the area, and I saw that happening, man. And it just plowed through. When I went down Rangeline Road, you were like, there's a dip, and in that dip, basically that dip lasts 3/4 of a mile or something like that. It basically, anything that was in there, it disintegrated. I would say the trees were about almost the height, maybe a little bit shorter, but almost the height of where a big truck would be, the trailer top. Anything above that was like somebody had taken their hand and like twisted it and just broken it off like that. So it was ugly broken off, but they were all gone, man. I mean, it just, every tree in that stretch, as far as you can see down that street, down that west to east run, was gone. I mean, it was ripped and it was shredded just like that. And all the houses were in pieces. I just happened to, I had a friend there, and I remember we couldn't get him, but thank God he lived between I-44 and where the storm was coming through. So they got hit, but I mean, they lost power, and we couldn't get in touch with him. He grew up in the same town I did. And his mother eventually got word as she was on the way from Louisiana to Joplin to find him. And thank God he was all right. But that was on May 22nd. I was with my daughter in the Midwest in late June. And on July 1st, we were in St. Louis around the Arch. On July 2nd, we went through Joplin. So, we're talking basically about 6 weeks after that storm. And I took my daughter there, my youngest, who was in middle school at the time. And let me tell you, it was very unusual. She bawled her eyes out when she saw it. She couldn't believe how bad it was. And I had to explain to her. I didn't expect that reaction from her. But I told her what we were going to see beforehand. And then I had to explain to her. I said, well, you see, babe, we're like all of us, we watch on the news and it's far away. It's not hitting us. Like we get the hurricanes and we know they're coming and we can run. But in most chances. But I said, this, they didn't. And I said, but, there was a Home Depot there, right there at Rangeline Road, completely obliterated, gone. The Walmart caved in and the walls caved in and he ended up killing people. Some people survived, some didn't. But by the time we got there, Home Depot had a huge, I'm talking about like the biggest circus tent you've ever seen up. And then they were, selling, open and doing business. Because I said, well, see, this is how it happens, baby. People rebuild. And let me tell you, it was 6 weeks later. And further, the Academy building right there, the Academy Sports, it managed to survive. It had some damage, but it managed to survive. But I can tell you that 6 weeks later, they still had cars packed 2 and 3 high on top of each other where they were thrown. And
wow.
And the roads, they were open, but there was basically blinking lights down that hard stretch. The hospital that was right there, got obliterated. Thank God for those people that the nurses and stuff that did have patients, and they took them down the staircases on gurneys, man. And they found paperwork from that hospital in Springfield, Missouri, which has to be I think it's about 80 miles away.
Wow.
So, yeah. And they were talking about I knew that from already, but then also I did hear on this documentary I watched, they said that there was a guy's license plate in his bumper. They found I want to say 26.8 miles away, just insane. But it was nothing like that, nothing I'd ever seen before. And I've seen hurricanes that were really, really bad, man. But those tornadoes are so damn scary when they're that intense. And but let me tell you a little surround story with that. The anniversary is this week. It's on Friday. It falls on Friday this year, May 22nd. And today I went through Joplin, Missouri, and looked at all of that stuff. And
you were in Joplin today?
Today.
Oh wow!
Went today. Doing my homework, man.
You were driving in there today.
I was driving. Yeah.
I thought you were still way up north.
No. I cut a ton of miles yesterday, man. 700 something miles.
Dang.
But cut through Joplin today. I took the wife there and I showed her the things, what area was destroyed. And you know how you can tell? I'd give Joplin this, man. They have rebuilt, and a lot of that area on Rangeline Road, a lot of it was some old dilapidated buildings they had there too. They had some new stuff, but a lot of it was older stuff. Well, let me tell you, everything, with the exception of, I'd say 95 to 98% of that road now on that stretch is all brand new buildings, been new businesses built up. In fact, it's very nice. They've done a good job. And they relocated a hospital closer to Interstate 44. It's unbelievable that a tornado could destroy a hospital, because those things are built so good. They have their own power grid. People that live next to hospitals, they never lose power usually, because the hospitals never lose power. But they did that day. But this area is totally rebuilt now, man. They did a very good job. I talked to our server we were eating today, and I asked her, she's born and raised there, and she was lucky. Well, the twister touched down basically just in her neighborhood on across the way, and how it destroyed one part of it, and she was fine. It was just starting when it hit her neighborhood on the other end of town, and so you just never know, man. But it plowed quite a path. There's been some more. Oklahoma's had one. I'm trying to remember the other team, but there's been a couple in Oklahoma, and this was pretty intense, man. And I just thought I would drop that knowledge today and encourage people to go to Going Green Productions on YouTube and look at the Joplin tornado video, which was incredible. There's a couple stories there too, also, and that to make note of. There was a guy. What was his name? Oh yeah, Chris Lucas. Yeah, he was a manager of a Pizza Hut there on Rangeline Road. Well, he put about 20 people in his freezer.
Right. I think that's on one of the videos.
He put a bungee cord, wrapped it around it, saved every person in that restaurant was destroyed because Chris and everybody and everything inside that building got sucked away. But everybody inside that freezer survived. And there's another one that's well known as the everybody at the convenience store got in the cooler, and they survived. Thank God. They crammed a bunch of people in that store. I've seen that one multiple times. Yeah, it was incredible. There was also, it was oddly enough, it was on a Sunday, and they had a graduation for the high school on a Sunday, and those kids all got out. Well, one kid was driving home, young man with his dad. He had just graduated, and he pulled off to the side of the road to try and avoid it, but His dad made it okay, but the tornado sucked him out he had what's that little thing called on top of the roof? The little
Sunroof?
sliding window. He had a sunroof, man, and sucked him out. And they found his body like 5 days later in a pond.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, so that is insane.
You got anything happy today to share? Bringing us down, man.
I mean, look, it's some amazing.
That's the brutal Mother Earth, man.
But yeah, you never can tell, man. But just keep your eye to the sky this time of year, and go and watch some of that stuff and the history that happened. Make sure the history exists for a reason. It helps us learn about prepare for tomorrow. So
yeah. All week they have it thunderstorms. It feels like they do the fear mongering, and then what happens is we all get relaxed because they're like, well, it didn't really rain today. It was supposed to storm all day. So then we let our guards down, and that's what happens.
That's how we were in Louisiana about hurricanes, because be careful what's coming.
Well, the news networks want you to click on stuff and watch their channels more, because that generates revenue for them. So
yeah, they do, and they fearmonger the hell out of it. Let me tell you, they do.
I think they're guilty of doing that. Just kind of trying to lure you in with something that's hot. But
yeah, they very much do that. I think with hurricane season, I see it quite a bit. And
every year they predict how many severe hurricanes, and then we wind up with not anything too effective. But then it's that one time where you let your guard down and you get screwed.
Yeah, I agree.
We need better data, man.
It's good to keep. Yeah, no, just keep your eye on the weather, and don't.
Yeah, it's difficult, man, because it can change on a dime,
Yeah, and there's lots of good weather apps out there. Of course, NOAA, the national, whatever weather, they do a good job. But I mean, the Weather Channel has one, but it's real funny. There's a difference between the Weather Channel and the Weather Channel app. Yeah. The Weather Channel app, I want to say I don't know who owns it now, but I want to say it was owned by IBM at one time, man. It's been shared, and they want you to subscribe to it all, but you cannot get live feed from the Weather Channel. If you could, it would be fantastic, because you could use it when you need it in those type of situations. But all you can get is a clip. So I would advise anybody that's if they're a cord cutter and they say they don't have a Weather Channel feed, if you're in trouble in any way, if there's bad weather anywhere that you are, like tornadic, go to YouTube and look up, just simply enter Storm Chasers Live. And they will be, if that weather's bad, I guarantee you there'll be somebody in that storm telling you exactly what's going on, where it's at. There'll be some crazy chaser risking his life to maybe save yours. So, yeah, that's what I would suggest. And the cough. I wouldn't suggest that. But that's all I got for you today, man.
All right, man. Well, thanks for calling in, Doug.
That's what we do. It's this time
Missing
of year,
in action, man.
But yeah, I know, and we'll be back next week with some guests. I've got something we got lined up, so we'll be good to go.
All right, sounds good. Well, stay safe out
everybody, thanks for and you too, my friend. And everybody, thanks for listening. We are the Nonsense Chronicles. Please like and subscribe. You can find us anywhere you get your podcast from, but especially on YouTube. And give us a like and subscribe. And we are out of here.
Later.